Hey, what's up guys? In today's video, I just want to talk to you and show you some things in my room. This is a series I'm going to continue where I just show you things that are in my room. I'm Emo, and I have a lot of things to show you in my room. I'm redoing my room, so there's a lot of stuff to talk about and show. This right here is a Perfect Cell action figure from 2003. He's really cool. He was one of the first figures I ever got. This isn't the exact figure, but he's really sick. I remember going to a mall and seeing him. I think it was somewhere in Topanga or Northridge or something. Really cool figure. His hand twists like this, as you can see. This is a Lego Bionicle, also from the year 2003. That is one of my favorite years. Take a look at him. As you can see, he's missing one of his arms, his left arm, but it's been replaced with a brown piece. This is one of my first Bohrok calls, which is a type of Bionicle. I remember I got it at a really cool mall. It was at an FAO Schwartz, which is an old style toy store. That was a great day. It was like a summer day, I think. What a vibe. If you guys know anything about Bionicle or have any memories of getting Bionicle, please leave it in the comments section. I'd love to chat about it. Next toy is an Exodia Funko Pop. Exodia was always one of my favorite characters in the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise because he was like the guardian to Yugi, Yami Yugi, the Pharaoh, whatever you call him, and he could actually defeat the Blue Eyes because he instantly won the game. I remember when I was in second grade, Yu-Gi-Oh was so big in my school, and I remember a lot of shirts that depicted Exodia on it that people were buying, kids were buying, and I actually want to do that. I want to revive designs for like old school Yu-Gi-Oh shirts somehow. That'd be a fun little business. This is a figure I got recently. Not recently, but it's not from childhood. This is a Cooler figure from the Dragon Ball Z series. Um, Cooler is a really awesome guy. Sorry, I'm trying to see what looks best. I'll hold him right here. Cooler's a really awesome figure. For me, Cooler, Meta Cooler, was a figure I got in 2003. As you can see, 2003 was one of my favorite years ever. I think I'll discuss that in a video. And yeah, Cooler, Meta Cooler, I'll show you him. He's somewhere else. Was my first, one of my first Dragon Ball figures. And this is just regular Cooler. And for some reason, Meta Cooler just always felt like one of the, for lack of a better word, coolest characters in all of Dragon Ball Z. Um, for some reason, he just stood out as someone that looked really powerful and someone that looked like he was futuristic and just really interesting to me. You know, when I got into stuff when I was a kid, Dragon Ball, Lego, Pokemon, all that, I didn't just like collect it and kind of leave it there. I tried to immerse myself in the world, and I felt like this draw from the show, as if there's something I can learn from it, something I can really absorb. As you'll begin to see, I'm an artist. You know, I like spirituality, philosophy, all that. So I try to incorporate everything. I try to see and figure out, which is kind of a vague idea, why things happen in my life. Everything has a reason, everything has a connection. I know it's a controversial idea, but it's what I believe. I believe there's a reason why we go through things, why we see things, why we're put into these worlds when we're kids and these shows. There's a reason why we're supposed to imagine ourselves in those situations. This is a cool card called Cyber End Dragon. Now, the cool thing about this card, I'll hold him here, is that this kind of represents an era of my childhood where I kind of remember myself growing up a little and drifting a little away from the things that I was really into when I was younger. Wasn't so much into Pokemon, maybe a little bit. Wasn't so much into Bionicles, maybe a little bit. I was getting more into Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I was getting more into sports, something I really grew out of. I remember I was playing soccer around this time in my life, 2005 to like 2007, something like that. But I remember getting this card around 2006. I think I watched wrestling a little bit. I really got into my Nintendo DS instead of my Game Boy and the Wii around that era. Um, so yeah, I was heavy into Game Boy, and upgrading to the DS was like a big change for me, big change for everyone. One day I'll tell that story. I remember getting the original fat chunky DS with that Metroid tie-in game, and it felt so magical. I remember that Christmas was actually, I think, was it 2004? I think 2004. It was actually a warm Christmas. I remember I was able to wear shorts. It was crazy. But Cyber End Dragon reminds me of that time of my life when I started to grow up a little. And I think it kind of resembles that. It's about a familiar creature, a dragon, right, that we see in Yu-Gi-Oh! But he's a cyber dragon, right? He's the future because communication was starting to develop rapidly at that time. The iPhone was about to come out, right? Social media was about to take over. So, yeah, but color-wise, he has like a nice frosted look to him. I thought he looked very futuristic, and uh, something about Cyber End Dragon just reminds me of, like, let's just look at him together. I want to just look at him and tell you what I see. Yeah, the Cyber End Dragon just reminds me of a really awesome creature from Yu-Gi-Oh, obviously. But also, he has like this invitation, which might sound kind of crazy. He has this invitation to kind of create and paint. His color scheme is a little bit kind of dull. It's just white and blue. So the way the light hits it kind of almost makes it seem like it has more depth than you may originally think. When you keep looking at it, I feel like I just keep seeing more and more. I feel like I keep my eyes keep adding color to it. That's a really weird, deep artistic thought I just had, but perhaps you guys can sort of understand what I mean by that. Like I said, I do art, so I like to explain some of the art that I see. And it was kind of hard to describe it without looking at it. I can describe the memory, but like to really describe how it looks, perhaps that is a way I'll do that.